everything is like very instant types, Sometimes we are at the store, for 5 days we will not get any sale, but you have to be ready. And then on a 6th day, a buyer will walk in who will buy more than what we expected to sell in that week. So every one has become very impulsive, or also you can say very last minute, like most of the times. Also what happens that a lot of people in general now, if they want something, they want it now, or they don't want it. That's become like a new culture, like back in the day people had catalogs, they would show designs in books, take orders, source diamonds, tell them 30 days. Now it's like a client, I've actually had some clients who have a flight at 8 o'clock and they'll come to the store at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That I have a budget of 5 lakhs, give me whatever you can in the next 2 hours. So that kind of culture has increased a lot. So earlier people preferred to do jewelry first and clothes later. Now it's more like do clothes first and jewelry later. Things have a way of working out. You don't need to worry. Everything gets taken care of. So just go with the flow. If your internal systems and everything is fine, you don't need to worry about these other things. But e-com is a very risky category to get into as an individual. If you are getting into it as a brand with a 5-year horizon, then it's a different thing, but you should have money to burn. If you have spare money to burn, then you can get into e-commerce, but looking at it as a primary avenue that you will start a website and people will come and buy from you, it's not going to happen, and that's mainly because people have a lot of options. So stable gold is great for business. Fluctuation in gold is not good for business. Let gold become 1,50,000. If you give it 1 week, people will get used to it. Okay, so gold going up has not affected people's business. It has affected wholesale business because let's have 100 rupees to invest and today gold is costing 10. The minute gold becomes 50, my investment in business goes up. So the ones who are into manufacturing of jewelry have been affected because if you are giving goods on credit, then the cost of your goods has gone up. It always helps to get a mentor in work. This is something. So who's a mentor? A mentor is a person who is maybe not from your family, but someone who's very experienced and from the same industry. So the role of a mentor is that whatever decision you take, they help you take a smarter decision. Sometimes you might decide that, okay, this is what I want to get into. But a mentor is the person who has probably 10 years of more experience than you. So mentor will always make it, because of their experience, they will always help you choose the right path. I'm not saying that a mentor is always right, but there is always a fight between gut feeling and mentor opinion. And sometimes the opinion of a mentor works very well. So if you have a mentor from the start, then you probably end up taking better calls. In 2012, I did graduate diamonds from GIA, and in 2014, my family opened a jewelry boutique store in Bombay by the name of Anokkhi, and me and my sister, we are looking into that business. Now about the family, so my grandfather started with the diamond business in late 1950s. Then when the next generation, that is my father and all his brothers entered the business, they got into diamond manufacturing, diamond trading. So at that time, business was more about manufacturing. People used to bring rough diamonds from Belgium, get it polished, cut in Surat, Bombay. Of course, that's also still a very big business, but now more consolidated to Surat. Then they were actively into trading. In 2001, we got into jewelry manufacturing along with jewelry exports. So till 2014, our company did a lot of exports also. In the last 10 years, we are more into jewelry manufacturing for all the chain stores in India. So my brother looks after that. We sell to Tanishq, to Malabar, to Reliance, to Aura, to Joy, now even to Aditya Birla, because it's mainly focused on selling to all the corporates. And me and my sister, we are looking after the boutique store, which is in Bombay itself. So anybody who's from Mumbai or coming to Bombay often, most welcome to visit for an interaction whenever. So now the first thing that I want to talk about, right now there's a lot of negativity in the market in general, in the industry. People are confused, and that's also because if you read the papers, there are articles like diamond prices are going down, what's going to happen to the future of diamonds. But honestly, if you ask me, I think everyone is doing very well. If you look at all the corporate stores, they are increasing their store counts. If you look at Aditya Birla, so till last year they had 13 stores. In the next 2 years they want to reach 100 stores. Any other business like a regional jeweler also, if you look at them, everybody is expanding, and that is because I feel India has a lot of potential. It has a lot of opportunity. See, whether you sell natural diamonds, you sell lab-grown diamonds, you sell gemstones, whatever you sell, the idea is that our country is, the middle class is becoming richer, or their wealth is increasing with every passing year. Today, if you look at any, like I came in touch with a lot of companies in Europe who want to come to India. For example, there's a brand called Zen Diamonds. I don't know if you all know about it, but it's a Turkish jewelry brand with more than 500 stores. So they are also setting up business in India. They just opened a showroom in Bandra and in Borivali, Mumbai. So if anybody tells you that diamonds doesn't have a good future, please ignore it. What has changed is that business has now become more seasonal. So probably back in the day, if you had business every day, now you might not have business every day, but business is growing every year. Like if I talk about us, we are also growing, or if I talk about any of my peers. So everyone has a tendency to complain, but people are making money. So if you have, any thoughts that, oh, what if diamonds don't do well, please remove it. We are in the best growing market globally. Everybody now wants to come to India because, say 5 years back, exports was doing very well. But in the current scenario with the duties in America, with all these trade tensions, a lot of things, India offers much more potential. Like if I look at the tier 2, tier 3 cities, the kind of demand, the kind of sale, the kind of business people are doing, it's insane. One category which is now booming more is men's jewelry. Like all these years, we were selling to female clients, but now we have a growing percentage of men, who come to the store and they're like, "Arey, wife ke liye dikha liya, but mera kya?" Like if you look at Met Gala, if you look at Shah Rukh Khan, the way he was dressed up, a lot of celebs are also endorsing jewelry. A lot of fashion designers are now getting into jewelry. If you look at Sabyasachi, you look at Manish Malhotra, I know a couple of other fashion designers. They are also planning to enter the jewelry business. So any thought that what if diamonds don't sell, I think that's not true. For women, jewelry is a matter, for women, for men, for families in general, jewelry, it's a matter of like it's just a way of showing that I've arrived. Like when people are making money, they definitely want to buy ornaments. So ornaments will always do well. There is business has become more seasonal. Probably earlier, we used to get, there's a wedding in November, brides will start coming from June. Now that same amount of business happens maybe in October, November only. So business has become seasonal, but business has not reduced. So you are very lucky that you are in a time that from here things are going to be good only. I mean that is at least what we are saying, that everyone is doing pretty well. So now I'm going to share some of my learnings. Okay, the first thing which I want to advise or tell all of y'all is that once y'all finish your course, okay, make sure that you spend a lot of time in the initial years in becoming stronger technically. So what I mean is that before you start taking up a job or before you join your business, sharpen all the skills which are required, which you feel will help you in work. Like if you want to get into manufacturing business, spend a lot of time in understanding manufacturing. If you want to get into trading business, spend a lot of time in understanding assortment. If you want to get into retail business, spend a lot of time in understanding how the merchandising works, how the goods are manufactured. Because see what happens that once you get into business now, it becomes very difficult to remove time later. Like for example, I'll give you my example. I did graduate diamonds in 2012, and I've been wanting to do graduate colored stones since then. It's been 13 years, but somehow it's just become very difficult to remove that 19 weeks together and do the course. So don't be in a rush to start making money. You've done your course right now. If you're looking at a 10-year horizon, it's very important that you sharpen your skills now and then start work. In the long run, that's going to give you much more advantage, because like sometimes people just want to start, but then they start and then they don't get time to learn. So if possible, forget about wanting to start working immediately. Do some internships, because if you go as an intern, companies are not going to look at you as a threat. They're not going to look at you as a competition. So get maximum number of internships, learn everything to do with jewelry, because things are evolving so fast. Like when it comes to digital marketing, it comes to social media, it comes to product photography. All these things are very important in today's time for jewelry. So whatever you want to do, make sure that before you start joining your business full-fledged, give maximum time to learn everything that you can, whether as an internship or more courses, because once you start, then it's going to become very difficult for you all to remove that time. Secondly, our industry is such that I am of the opinion that if you work as a team, you do much better than working as an individual. This is from experience. So like if you have a family, if you make a team, because see, everyone has some strengths, everyone has some weaknesses. So for example, I'm very good with talking to people, but I'm horrible at negotiation. So that is something I don't get into. That is something my dad looks after. My sister is excellent at designing. So that is something what she looks into. But we work as a team. So if you are looking at starting something, there are so many different departments in our business. Like if you plan to launch a brand, from sourcing to making your collections, design, production, keeping stock, sales, there's a lot of activities. So if you can work as a team, whether it's in the family or if you can collaborate with a friend, like companies in general who work as a team, I've seen that they have more scope of growth because it's easier to expand. So having a team would be much beneficial than starting out on your own. Other thing which I want to talk about is from experience. A lot of times you might start a brand, but you've not given too much thought to the logo. You've not given too much thought to your stationery, like your letterhead. You've not given too much thought to your digital presence, like your website, how it's going to look. So what happens, you create a logo, and then after 2 years you realize, oh no, this is not working, let me change it. Then again after 2 years you realize that, oh no, now my website is not looking nice, let me change that. So there are a lot of companies which are stuck in the rut of constantly changing things. Don't do that. Whenever you start, spend a lot of time in making sure, if you have a budget of X, spend 2X. But get your brand logo, get your product logo done to the best of your expectations. Because whatever identity you create is going to be your brand recall for life. All the people that you're selling to, all the people that you're dealing with, they will always judge you based on what your identity is. So don't be in a rush to create your logo, okay? But whatever you do, see, it could be one day. We took 14 months. I'm not saying that you could take that much time. We took a lot of time because the store interiors was going on, so we had time. But whatever you create, make sure that you get the best expert to design it for you, so that, because that's going to be your recall for life. Whoever that you're selling to, they will judge you from that, be it even your end user. Like if your collateral is nice, then automatically people like the brand more. So whether if at all you are planning to start something on your own, just make sure that you give a lot of importance to getting the right logo or the right brand collateral. Uh, so once you're in business or once you're in a working environment, there are a lot of skills, of course, which are very important. But one thing that I learned is the most important is to learn how to be a good negotiator. Like extremely relevant in our industry. Why negotiation is very important is because from the day you start working, you are constantly negotiating. Now, whether you are buying, whether you are selling, whether you are sourcing, whatever you're doing, negotiation is one thing which people don't learn usually in colleges, but it's the most important subject to learn, because if you can master negotiation, then even in your job or even in your whatever work you do, you will do very well. So there are some books which are available, or you can just interact with people who you feel are great negotiators and probably observe and learn them. But this is one subject which I feel is very important, like to be a good negotiator. And when it comes to your own business, the most important thing is accounts. Whatever you do, whether you want to buy, you want to sell your stock, everything can be outsourced. You can get people to do everything for you. But accounts and numbers is one thing which the owner has to do themselves. Because if you get somebody else to do your accounts, then tomorrow they'll become the boss and you'll be out. So the most important thing for a business person is numbers. If your numbers is good, if your reports are good, then automatically the business will do well, because you are constantly monitoring what is right, what is wrong, So purchase, sales, everything can be outsourced. You can have a team for that, but numbers is something which you cannot make somebody else do. So whenever I look at a lot of companies in the market currently, all the top companies, I have seen so many brands that they keep one day of the week aside just for accounting. Like there are retail stores, one day of the week, they will just sit, tally everything. That day they don't go to the sales counter. I've seen some owners, every morning for 1 hour, they will sit and look at all the numbers. My brother himself, he manages a factory of a huge number of staff. He never goes to the factory. The only thing he does is he will look at reports and look at numbers, because numbers tell you everything. So in business, whatever you do, always remember that as a businessman, you have to be a good negotiator, and in your day-to-day activities, you have to make sure that you are updated with your numbers, like all your accounting numbers. Any questions till now? Anything you guys want to ask? Because I'm just going randomly with the flow, whatever I thought I should share with y'all. But anything y'all want to ask, just like pause and ask me, and I'll be more than happy to help. See, one thing which I saw that, they say that change is the only constant. So we've seen that, like we started the store in 2014. Okay, so every year or every second year, some events took place which changed the entire dynamics of the market. But the beauty is that those changes actually were some of the best business years for companies. Some of them, like who made a good use of that opportunity. Like for example, in 2009, there was a very big global recession. But a few companies made use of that recession to buy their rough diamonds at such a low cost that gave them the momentum to do very well today. So out of 2008-2009 recession, some people got scared, but the ones who made use of that opportunity, their business skyrocketed. So like when we started in 2014, in 2015, excise duty came, so people got scared, retailers, there was a 1-month strike, what are we going to do? In 2016, demonetization happened. In 2018, GST happened. In 2020, COVID happened. In 2022, lab-grown diamonds happened. In 2022 to 2025, gold prices doubled. So all these events, they're like, oh my God, now what am I going to do? But I will tell you, demonetization was the best year for retailers in India. that day when demonetization happened, companies made more sales than they did in the last 1 year. Okay, so you have to be always ready. The first point I said, business has become seasonal, but every day you have to be ready. When COVID happened, factories were shut for 3 months. We were bleeding every single day because you have to pay salaries, you have your fixed expenses. But the minute the lockdown was over, companies did more business than they had done in the last 5 years. I know of so many diamond companies, their 2002 sales were more than the previous 3 years combined. So changes will happen, but the person who patiently makes a strategy, who does not react to the situation, they will do well. When lab-grown diamonds came in, everybody panicked. The only discussion which people was having, oh my god, lab-grown diamonds have come in now, what are we going to do? That I have sold lab-grown diamonds to some clients at an exorbitant price. Since then, the prices have corrected 95%. So natural diamond manufacturers were scared. But if you look at fast forward 3 years, everyone is doing fine. Lab-grown people are also doing fine. Natural diamond people are also doing completely fine. So changes will keep on happening very rapidly, very regularly. But the only thing we must do is not react. Because the moment you react impulsively to the change, you will suffer. But things eventually always fall in place. Okay. So, my opinion, I'll just share my thoughts on e-commerce. So, e-commerce in jewelry is very tricky because people need touch and feel. See, e-commerce works very well abroad because when you talk about countries like Europe, US, they don't have availability of jewelers in every nook and corner. So when a buyer in America is buying something online, maybe if he steps out of home, he's in minus 10 degrees snow with no jewelers to visit. Okay, so for them that concept works, that we are buying online. But the moment we come to India, okay, see, Carrot Lane started e-commerce in India. And Carrot Lane was also the most successful startup exit in India. The founders of Carrot Lane started with an investment of 75 lakhs in 2010 and sold their company for 4,000 crores. Okay. But why Carrot Lane worked? Because they had a offline presence also. So when you want to do e-commerce, I feel that make use of e-commerce to market your brand, to promote your brand, to keep on hammering the client that you exist. But if you try to sell online, there is a high possibility that there will be a lot of goods which will come back. I know somebody who started online and then he had a client in Nagpur who placed an order for a ring. Now funnily that client ordered 4 rings, 9, 10, 11, 12 or all sizes. So my client thought maybe it's in the family some gifting or something. Then he came to know that the customer was not sure of his ring size. So you ordered 4 sizes because you have a return policy, so why do I care? So India, we have so many jewelers that people are used to touch and feel. We at the store get so many clients that, okay, I saw this on their website, I saw this on their website. Is it possible for you to make it? And 9 out of 10 times my costing will be lesser because I don't have the expenses of an e-commerce website. So e-commerce is great under a certain price point, but the cost of creating a brand is very high. So if you are doing e-commerce, you have to be prepared that you are going to pump in money every day for your ads, for your social media presence, for your website maintenance. Then you have payment gateway. If you're selling on eBay, Amazon, high commissions. So e-commerce is maybe good for exports, but in India, I personally feel e-commerce is good only to market your brand. You make the product available, but give the client the option to come to your store and try the product, or go to any other store, maybe your distributor, some partner that you have, where he or she can go, try the product and buy. See, branding in jewelry is very expensive and most of us cannot put in the kind of money it's required. Because if you look at any of these e-commerce brands in India currently, whether it's Carrot Lane, it's Melora, it's Bluestone, they are heavily funded. And I'm talking about 300, 400, 500 crores plus. And right now they're in a situation that they want to spend money, but they don't know where to spend because everything is numbers, as I said. So starting a e-commerce brand is a good idea only if your product value is low, or if your product is something which is not easily available. Like if you're offering something, maybe you're offering some gemstones from Brazil, which are not available in India, then you might get a niche client. But the process of creating the brand for somebody to trust your gemstones from Brazil could take 3 to 5 years. So do you have the power to hold for that long? Like I personally don't know any brand who's doing e-commerce only, but I know a lot of brands who are, like for example, there is a store called Diamantina in Bandra. So they have a brand called Carrot Crush. So now what happens when I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm seeing the Carrot Crush ad, the next time I want to gift my friend something, or I want to buy something for my mother, I want something for myself, I will go to the store because I had seen the product. So introduction of product online, great idea. But selling offline is better so that the client is also very sure of what they are buying. Gemstone and diamonds, B2B e-commerce is doing very well. Gemstones and diamonds, but that's more of a trust. Today, if I have a client in New York and if I have to sell a 5-carat GIA certified stone, the GIA is already giving the credibility of the diamond. So then it just comes down to price, whether my price is cheaper or somebody else's price is cheaper. It's online. The client did not see the stone before buying. But jewelry becomes very difficult. Demonetization, there was a huge shift in pattern of the way people were buying jewelry because there was less cash in hand. Okay, so smaller pieces started selling more, bigger pieces stopped selling for some time. After COVID, people's obsession to screen increased a lot. Like today, when I look at my house also, or anybody around me, even if you have 5 minutes, people are hooked onto their screen. So there is so much data that you are viewing, you are consuming so much online that the way people are buying things have changed. Like probably 3-4 years back, there was a plan that okay, the wedding is in December. From June we will start looking at jewelry. From August we will do clothes and get done with things like that. But now people have become very impulsive. Everything is like very instant types. Sometimes we are at the store for 5 days we will not get any sale, but you have to be ready. And then on a 6th day, a buyer will walk in who will buy more than what we expected to sell in that week. So every one has become very impulsive, or also you can say very last minute, like most of the times. Also what happens that a lot of people in general now, if they want something, they want it now, or they don't want it. That's become like a new culture, like back in the day people had catalogs, they would show designs in books, take orders, source diamonds, tell them 30 days. Now it's like a client, I've actually had some clients who have a flight at 8 o'clock and they'll come to the store at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That I have a budget of 5 lakhs, give me whatever you can in the next 2 hours. So that kind of culture has increased a lot. So earlier people preferred to do jewelry first and clothes later. Now it's more like do clothes first and jewelry later. So because of that, see, dynamics will keep on changing. It's not that this is the norm, but it's very important for us to be patient that sales will happen, not get scared, and at the same time be prepared every day because you don't know who will come when. Like for example, when the markets opened after COVID, most of the companies which were dealing in loose diamonds sold 90% of their inventory in 1 week. Why that happened? Because American government, they gave free dollars to their people. So exports zoomed, domestic sales zoomed. Even over here we did some exhibitions and there was a crazy consumption. Now if I would have gotten scared and not kept stock, then maybe I would have suffered. So I have seen that if you are patient, things have a way of working out. You don't need to worry. Everything gets taken care of. So just go with the flow. If your internal systems and everything is fine, you don't need to worry about these other things. But e-com is a very risky category to get into as an individual. If you are getting into it as a brand with a 5-year horizon, then it's a different thing, but you should have money to burn. If you have spare money to burn, then you can get into e-commerce, but looking at it as a primary avenue that you will start a website and people will come and buy from you, it's not going to happen, and that's mainly because people have a lot of options. I think in India you have more jewelers than panwalas, you know, like if you just look at the number of people, but everybody gets business. If you have a good product, people will come to you. So see, if gold stops increasing now, your business will go down. I'll tell you why. Because gold is increasing, I am also very happy that the value of the goods which I have in my wardrobe is also increasing. So gold increase is actually great. What is not good is fluctuation. Now, if today gold goes up by 2,000 rupees, tomorrow it falls by 2,000 rupees, and again it goes. So then what happens? Customers are like, "Arey, nahi, we'll wait. If it's going down, let it go down more. If it's going up, you know, like let's wait till it comes down again." So gold increase in price has. So I will divide people into two categories. There is one category of people who are HNIs, okay, who are rich. For them, it does not make any difference. And there is one category of people who are not HNIs or middle class, who are buying gold jewelry. For them also, it does not make a difference, but maybe for some time, they will hold their purchase. So stable gold is great for business. Fluctuation in gold is not good for business. Let gold become 1,50,000. If you give it 1 week, people will get used to it. Okay. So gold going up has not affected people's business. It has affected wholesale business because let's have 100 rupees to invest, and today gold is costing 10. The minute gold becomes 50, my investment in business goes up. So the ones who are into manufacturing of jewelry have been affected, because if you are giving goods on credit, then the cost of your goods has gone up. So over there is a little bit of issue currently in the industry. But in terms of sale to the end users, I think businesses have only grown. It has not been affected because of the increase in gold price. So gold going up is good, only it should go up slowly. Now what we do, what we've seen, 70% of my clientele is repeat. Okay, only 30% is new clientele. Now you cannot convince every person coming to your store to buy from you. You should not try to do that also. But what you should definitely do is give the best shopping experience to your existing client. If your client who comes to you is happy, you will be surprised they will bring 10 more. So many of our clients, when they are happy with the product, when they are happy with the experience, you know, they refer us to some people. So what happens, before that person is coming, the one who's got our reference, he already has a very positive attitude towards us. Okay. See, for customers, price is important, but trust is more important. Whatever you are marketing online, your marketing online doesn't help you bring you as many new clients as much as it puts the trust in your existing clients. So jewelry is not about getting new clients. I would not recommend anyone to spend money on getting new clients. You spend money on making your existing clients happy, because if they are happy, they will bring 10 more. And if they are upset, they'll take 20. So shopping experience, a good shopping experience is the most important thing that you can give your customers. Spend online, but not with the focus of getting clients. Spend online with the focus of creating awareness. Because if people are aware, see, jewelry is also not something which people buy every day. You know, sometimes a family will probably buy once a year, once in 2 years. But if they are seeing you online, when they want to buy, they will come to you. So your objective has to be marketing, not sales. If you do Insta ads, if you promote your website, people will come to see, but they will buy only when they trust the brand. So don't worry about what if my client goes to my competition. If he has to go, he will go. And most of the times it happens that the customer will go. That's not in our control. But the ones we have to make sure that they have a great shopping experience, because then automatically they will bring more and they will also want to come back. So yeah, see, 3 things are very important in retail business. Like, I'm just giving you from my experience. If there is a market and there are 10 jewelry shops, everyone will get the same amount of business because it balances out, it's economics. But the ones whose product cost is low is the one who makes money. You have to focus that whatever you are selling, the cost of your product has to be less. Because you will also get sale, the neighbor jeweler will also get sale. But if your cost of the product is less, then you are bound to make money. But you have to be patient. We started in 2014. We were not profitable for the first 4 years. But after that, every year growth has happened with the same set of clients. So don't think that, oh, today if I start and what if I don't get sales? Should I stop? Don't doubt yourself. If your product cost is reasonable, you will do well. Secondly, what is very important is spend limited money on marketing. See what happens, like some brands, when they go overboard with their marketing budgets, it becomes very difficult to sustain. We've seen that in the news, about some brands. So plan your marketing spend also very well, because jewelry in India is more about touch and feel than advertising. You might give a front page ad in a newspaper spending 50 lakh rupees, or you will host your existing client for 5 lakh rupees. The second option will give you more mileage in the long, so don't go overboard with your expenses, because that can also kill you. And third thing, which is also very important, is checking your inventory versus your sale. So there are some numbers, like if you have 100 rupees of stock, you should have at least 120 rupees of sale if your margin is very good, or at least 200 rupees of sale if your margin is okay. So those numbers also you have to monitor. That's why I would repeat that if anybody wishes to get into business, make sure that the most important skill set is accounting. Like that is something which you can learn also. It's very important, and becoming a good negotiator. These two things will help you a lot in the long run, whether you're selling gemstones, you're selling diamonds, you're selling jewelry, whatever work you are doing. See, I'll tell you, business cycles keep on changing. If you feel that you cannot compete over there, I would say change your business. I'm not saying leave the industry, but if you are into wholesale and if you feel that where you are sitting, there is a lot of competition and you're not being able to manage over there, I would say either get into retail, get into some other category, get into some kind of value addition. Because one thing which is ample in India is competition. Like today, if you bring a new product from abroad, it will be less than a month that your neighbor will also have it. So you have to keep on innovating. You cannot assume that once you start something, everything is going to be rosy and nice, So I've seen that on Insta, they are giving jewelry at 3% labor charges and all of that. So you should not sit and compete. You should take a step back, think what are your other options, and change your offering. Because price war is something where you eventually end up losing only. Nothing comes out of a price war. So think where else you can do a value addition. So I'll give you an example of our family. When we were selling diamonds to our clients in New York, we realized that they were buying those diamonds from us and asking us to ship it to China. So the companies in China were making jewelry with those diamonds and giving it to our clients in New York. So we made a proposal that if somebody else is making jewelry in China, why don't we set up a manufacturing unit and we will give you the jewelry. So they said, okay, give it a try. Let's see how that works out. And that's how we diversified from loose diamonds to jewelry manufacturing. Then after 10 years, it came a point that the American buyers would buy jewelry from India, but the credit period was 150 days, which is not sustainable. So we decided, okay, let's drop US, let's get into domestic. So we started working with jewelers in India. Now in India, it's come to a point where all these established brands, they've started a new strategy that we'll give you our own diamonds, So our hedge was that, okay, let's get into retail. So every few years, something or the other will happen that will make you realize that, okay, now this is not working for me. So your job is to look at what is the next opportunity, you know. So keep on looking at new things. Forget about what's happening over here. Don't waste your time over there. I'm not saying that you make a jump, but put your energy and resources in figuring out what new you can do. Let the family continue doing what they are doing, you know, but things will change. So you have to change it. Because see, first solitaires used to be sold, trading used to happen amongst individuals. Then RapNet came. So the moment RapNet came, everybody's inventories was listed. Now this is great for me as a retailer because I get the lowest price. But for diamond manufacturers, they are forced to sell at the price they are listing on, not at their cost. So sometimes you might have a stone which your cost is 100 rupees, but the RapNet value is 90. Now you can either wait and sulk that I'll wait till I get a buyer for 100, or you can sell it for 90 and try to bring your cost to 80. You know, or then you change your offering. You get out of that. Let your competitors fight. You do something else. Another thing which I would like to suggest to all of you all, which I learned a little late, is that it always helps to get a mentor in work. You know, this is something. So who's a mentor? A mentor is a person who is maybe not from your family, but someone who is very experienced and from the same industry. So the role of a mentor is that whatever decision you take, they help you take a smarter decision. Sometimes you might decide that, okay, this is what I want to get into. But a mentor is the person who has probably 10 years of more experience than you. So mentor will always make it, like because of their experience, they will always help you choose the right path. You know, I'm not saying that a mentor is always right, but there is always a fight between gut feeling and mentor opinion. And you know, sometimes the opinion of a mentor works very well. So if you have a mentor from the start, then you probably end up taking better calls in your journey, whether it's a job, whether it's a business, anything. See, even the ones who are planning to apply for a job now, I'm telling you all, the industry is struggling for good people. Whenever I go to so many factories or so many of my friends in the industry, they're constantly sitting with CVs that I need someone reliable. I need somebody who's good with this skill. I need somebody who's, you know. So that is why I'm saying that sharpen your skill, join the industry, but try to work in an environment or in a company where you feel you'll be consistent. Because if you keep on changing jobs also very often, then employers don't like it because they consider that, okay, this person is not stable. But if you give yourself time to learn everything, and then if you start a job wherever you're working, and if you're working for a long time, then the opportunities of growth are very high. Because you know, if you keep on changing a job every 2 years, as compared to you change once in probably 7-8 years, but the growth which will happen in the second case will be much better because they value your skill. And as I said, people are always looking for good team members to add to their team. So that's one thing also, you know, you should keep in mind. See, I feel scope is everywhere. You have to do where your strength lies. Today, from rough sourcing to manufacturing to, you know, diamond trading. So diamond trading may be a little less now because middlemen are getting. So diamond trading is good if you are giving a service business. Like for example, to a jewelry manufacturer, you're giving them the service of making bands, like, you know, specific as per requirement. So anything you do, there is scope. What is important is where does your strength lie, or where does your, if you're into family business, where does your family's backing stand? So grass is always greener on the other side. As a retailer, I feel my vendor is doing very well. As a supplier of jewelry, my vendor feels that I'm making more money than him. It's not that. There is good opportunity everywhere, but you have to see where your company ka strength is or where your opportunity is accordingly. But I feel all verticals are good. See, one thing which I want to tell all of you all is visit a lot of exhibitions. Once you all pass out of GIA, you know, once you all are done with your course, visit IIJS, visit the Jaipur show. If you get a chance, visit the Hong Kong show. If you get a chance, visit the Bangkok show, because our industry, maximum business happens in exhibitions. Exhibitions are the best place to learn about what is new. Exhibitions are the best learn to network, because sometimes a good network is more important than a money backing, you know. So networking is extremely important, and finding out what's trending is also extremely important. Like now, if you go to IIJS, other than product, there are so many other supporting services that you learn about. Be it photography, there are so many softwares which can help you bring very good systems in your business. So exhibitions is one thing which you should attend compulsorily at least 3 to 4 in a year, because the kind of interactions which you have at an exhibition with other people also, that can give you a lot of mileage in the long run. Today, if you are from a manufacturing background, you must be at your booth so that you meet maximum retailers across India, because our industry works entirely on relations. Like I have seen that people that I've connected with in the last 10 years, you know, some random conversation at an exhibition led to some tremendous business 2 years later. And this I've seen for everybody. So if you want to do well in the gems and jewelry industry, you have to make sure that whichever exhibitions you can attend, you should not skip. Especially the 2 IIJ shows which happen, because those are technically the biggest shows in Asia. Now, before COVID, Hong Kong show was considered very good, but Hong Kong is only good for going and selling. But if you want to learn about industry, if you want to learn about what is relevant in India, IIJS is the best platform. So make sure, so IIJS has come out with a 10-year schedule. So make sure that every year you all attend IIJS for sure. If you all want to learn about gemstones and polki jewelry and all that, then make sure you all attend the Jaipur show also, because that is also like a creative paradise. You know, once you go to Jaipur, there are so many artistic people over there. You know, they have some fantastic collections. So build your network. Focus on learning skill, building your network. Business will happen. Business is not going anywhere, but these 2 things you have to do it properly in the initial years. And of course, networking is something which goes for life, but it's very, very important.
So thank you very much, Shalin, for doing this. It was a very engaging session, and I'm sure a lot of us learned from this. So big round of applause for our guests.